Great. Well, thank you very much for having me today. Thank you, Susie. And as Susie mentioned, I am with Friends of Trees. I am the deputy director there. So under the deputy director falls communications. So I've got a few communications people that work for me. And I also do a lot with video on the side. So that's pretty exciting. Video, I agree. Video is pretty big. But I want to start out this morning and find out who is in the audience first. And so if I can get you guys interacting here this morning, can you tell me if you are with a for-profit company? Okay, more than half the room. How about some nonprofits? Okay, students, I'm skipping around here, and government. Okay, and anything else who hasn't raised their hand? Okay, now I also want to find out, because I don't have a lot of background on you guys, I just know that you're probably pretty digitally savvy, but I want to find out a little bit. I'm sure everyone's on Facebook, but who's on LinkedIn and who considers themselves? Okay, so we're pretty, yeah, okay, good, savvy room. Twitter, okay, Instagram. Okay, so this is a pretty good room. YouTube, who has a YouTube channel? Okay, so some of you got some work to do in the video realm and help with that. How many of you understand SEO? How many of you can do something with that understanding and make it happen? Okay, so we're starting to peter off here. Great. So, like I said, I am Brighton West, and I am the deputy director at Friends of Trees, and I manage our communications team. So our communications team is a number of people. It is, I have a part-time person who works for me, and he does a lot of the social media, and we have consultants. We have one consultant who works about 10 hours a week who manages him, and then we also have Green Rising Marketing is our current agency that we work with. We've done a lot of work in the past with social media, so all of my social media training really comes from Susie. So if there's anything here I say that's off, you can blame Susie. But I'm here to talk about our volunteer recruitment campaign. So we have a lot of volunteers. We have over 4,000 volunteers a year with Friends of Trees. And I'm going to talk specifically about a campaign we run every year to bring in about 200 volunteer crew leaders. So we just wrapped this up. Runs from September, October, November is the time frame for this. These are my notes over here on the computer, by the way. So moving forward. Who is Friends of Trees? First off, I'd like to know, I'd just like to know who knows Friends of Trees. Who's heard of Friends of Trees? Okay, sweet. Who hasn't heard of Friends of Trees? Let's do that. Raise your hands. Okay. Of those people raising your hands, how many of you live on the east side of the river in Portland? So those of you who don't know Friends of Trees and live on the east side of the river in Portland. Okay, so this is good, because when we worked with Susie, the task was to get people who live on the east side of the river to buy trees for their homes. So really our goal was to get our name recognition and get people understanding what we do on the east side of the river. So I'm very happy about that. But now we're expanding to try to get more, including volunteer recruitment. So our tagline is that we plant trees together. So we bring people together throughout the Vancouver down to Eugene kind of area of Oregon and Washington, and bring them together to plant trees. We planted over 500,000 trees. We've been doing this for about 25 years. So, moving on to our crew leader campaign, like I mentioned, there is an offline component to this. I'm going to talk about the online component. Specifically, I'm going to talk about Facebook. But I just want to acknowledge that there was an offline component here. So there's posters and bus backs and benches. So there's a lot of just kind of awareness building around town. Most of that in that target area east of the river, because that's also where we sell trees to homeowners. But then there's the online, and there are two components to the online campaign that work pretty well. One is our e-newsletter. We've got about 20,000 people on an e-newsletter list. This was a little bit surprising to me, actually. I figured, well, these were the people who already were doing stuff with us. A lot of them, what we were able to do is activate them to a higher level. So they might have volunteered once, they might have gotten a tree at their house, but sending them an e-newsletter that said, hey, we want you to come out and be part of this new campaign, become a group here, we got a lot of return there. The other place we got a lot of return was Facebook. And so Susie mentioned that I should have 3 takeaways today, so I'm going to start with my first takeaway. So takeaway number 1 is you got to pay the piper. And in this case, the piper, anyone know who the piper is at Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg. If you want to reach anyone, especially with an ask, you pretty much have to pay. There might be some great tricks here to get better reach. I mean, obviously, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was amazing, but organic reach, you guys know, is awful on Facebook, and especially if you're doing something like an ask. If you say, you know, I want you to come out and volunteer, I want you to give me money, I want you to buy my product, I want you to do something, it's just inherently not shareable, likable, commentable content. So if you want to get that kind of content in front of people, you have to pay. But the good news is you can pay and it can work. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples now about when we've paid and when it's worked. Let's see here. Okay, so this is an example of, we have a whole, throughout the that couple of month period, we do a whole bunch of Facebook posts. And this is one about one of our crew leaders, Pat, and she has a quote. And so we posted this, and then immediately we boosted this. And you can see here that we spent, I think it was probably a $50 spend or something. Typically what we're spending is, you know, $50 to $100 or so on these boosts. And you know, we've got a bunch of shares. We got 8 shares and, you know, 200 likes, comments, shares, things like that. This is pretty good. Friends of Trees has about 9,000 Facebook fans. So that's kind of to give you an idea. So this is performing pretty well. 6,000 people reached. So during the season, we do a whole series of these posts. Big picture, link to our Google Plus, or excuse me, to our Google form where they can fill out and become a crew leader. Like I said, this was boosted. I want to go to the next one, and I'm not sure if I can. Oops, multiple remotes. So much technology here.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. That's Susie. So here's another one during the same time period. Can you lend us a hand and share this with your friends? So we've got actually really good ask for what you want example. I'm sure that's part of the class. So we got 41 shares on that. So about the same amount of spend, but we reached a lot more people. About 10,000 people reached on this one. And also I think important when you're going to pay, Mark, to make sure you've got a couple things. One is that your post is already probably going to perform okay anyway. So if you've got something that's really boring, you know, even paying, it's not going to be a good use of your money. So if we're already getting comments and shares and likes, it's probably worth boosting, or in this case, we'll get into advertising on this. So the second thing is that there's an ask in your content. So very seldomly do we pay if we're not going to get some kind of return that goes beyond social media. And I got an example where we actually did that. So if you're going to get something back, if you're going to get, like, our crew leaders, this ends up costing us about $20 per crew leader. But these are people who are valuable. These are people who are going to be with us potentially for years. People, they're committing to 4 plantings. We're training them. We're investing in these people. So $20 to get someone in the door for a couple of years in a key volunteer role is pretty good. And we also do a lot with Facebook. One of the things I like about it is it's so targetable. Excuse me, so you can, you know, we typically do these, a lot of these are friends of friends, friends of fans. So we're advertising, and it's where it shows up in Facebook, and it says your friend Bob likes Friends of Trees, so you'll like this content too. So we're able to reach people that are kind of already kind of warmed up by their friends to our message. And also, I'm sure you've seen the targeting on Facebook. You can get really specific. We'll run a lot of ads that are zip code targeted, that are targeted to Eugene, targeted to Salem, areas where we need crew leaders. And we'll go in and do things like people who like Whole Foods and New Seasons and REI. So very common, just kind of dig in, find what your target audience looks like, and advertise to them. So that's the beauty. I mean, it's not amazingly cheap, but it works. So Mark Zuckerberg's got something on there. Okay, let me just real quickly here. Takeaway number 2 is content is king. Even though you're doing an ask, you have to mix in a lot of content. And that's something that we've learned over the years at Friends of Trees, is that if you're just doing asks, just, please give us money, please come out and volunteer, please come to this planting, please do this, please do that. Social media, just people don't want that. That's not what they're on Facebook for. So, so content is king. And so let me go through some of our content. Sorry to be switching back and forth here so much. You guys on that side get to see it every once in a while a little more. Next slide, Susie. So this is one of our more popular posts. This was not boosted. It didn't have an ask. But this is something, it's not exactly campaign related, but these were running at the same time as the campaign. So like I said, we were running a lot of different asks to be part of Friends of Trees, but we are also mixing that in with a lot of great content. And this is something, which nut is edible? Do you guys know the difference between a horse chestnut and a chestnut? Some of you do, okay. The rest of you need to go read this post. I'm surprised, it was shared 42 times. Originally when I proposed this, it was delicious or deadly. And I was like, oh, and my coworkers thought that was too Fox News. So we backed off a little bit and just went with which nut is edible. But great content, valuable content, informational content. In the world of YouTube, which is kind of where I spend most of my time, we talk about content being 3 different things, either informational, educational, or inspirational. So it's not one of those things. It's probably worth putting out there. Or I guess if it's not one of those things, then it's just an ask. So make sure we've got some good content mixed in, because that's what people want, and that's what people care about. We can have the next slide, Susie. Ninkasi brewed a beer for us this year at the same time, the Friends of Trees Pale Ale. Has anyone had the Friends of Trees Pale Ale? No one? Okay. I think it's getting close to sold out. They actually brewed a second batch for us.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so this is one of those examples where there was no ask, but I just had to boost it because we have a 9,000 person audience. It was so incredibly popular that we boosted this and got it out to 26,000 people. So it was just such a great story that we wanted to get it in front of more people. And people were sharing it. There's over 100 shares on this. So for Friends of Trees, that's great. We got our message in front of a lot of people. We probably got a lot of new page likes, and then those people were likely to start seeing the campaign. But people really like the positive content. Yes?
Everybody in this room starting at a different place. Can you explain the metrics a little bit? When you
Sure.
say 26,000, are you saying 26,000 eyeballs saw that, or it just went to 26,000 accounts?
So it scrolled through 26,000 eyeballs could have seen it if they were paying attention. And yeah, so some of this here, sorry to kind of breeze through a lot.
It's akin to an impression. So when you buy an impression, or it's a magazine ad, right? You can't guarantee that they saw it, but it's in their screen.
Perfect. Thank you, Susan. Sure. I like that. So, and let's go. Let's see what's. Let me see what's next here. Yeah, let's move forward. One more. So this is another one. This is entertaining content. So I think that was put under inspirational. People got very excited about Friends of Trees and beer. And this is a video that we did. This is for Giving Tuesday. You guys familiar with Giving Tuesday? Very good. We did long lines for Giving Tuesday. They put a little YouTube video. And this one did pretty well. And I'm going to give you a little insider tip here. I don't know if you know about video and Facebook, but if you put video up on YouTube and then you post a YouTube link, actually if you can go forward one, we're going to go back and forth a little bit, to Facebook, YouTube doesn't show your post to a whole heck of a lot of people. Facebook doesn't show your post to a whole heck of a lot of people. They want the video to be embedded in Facebook. So you can see here about 1,000 people saw this, and then 1 week later when we reposted it as a Facebook video, about 5,000 people saw it.
Oh, I see, it's the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one, it's a different, it starts playing automatically.
Yeah.
And Facebook, and these were boosted or advertised, but video, as Susie said, video is powerful. Video, if you embed it directly into Facebook instead of posting it on YouTube, is even more powerful. There's some little tricks of how to make Facebook not realize that you're posting a YouTube video. So let me go on to number 3.
More.
So number 3 takeaway is engage and be different. Susie already mentioned the Ice Bucket Challenge. I just talked about the videos that we did for Giving Tuesday. A lot of nonprofits were asking on Giving Tuesday, and we were posting video. That was kind of fun. So another kind of engaging content, we'll switch back. This is a little more difficult than I thought. Is the Christmas tree. This is just something, Friends of Trees, Christmas tree, we just posted about, artificial trees and how do you feel about them, but just content we're engaging. We got a lot of 34 comments on this that we were going back and forth with a lot of people on their take on Christmas trees. We've got like living trees, we're like artificial trees. So this was a good example of our engaging content and a little bit of a different look. And if we could get to the next one, I'm going to go to someone other than us.
Can I ask you, do you have an organizational stance on?
We do not. We are doing a lot of stuff. People can have whatever tree they like as long as they have a good experience with it. So.
More like hug a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of tree.
Susie mentioned the Ice Bucket Challenge, but I wanted to mention this one. Have you guys studied this, the zombie apocalypse CEPE thing? This was amazing. What they did is for this, for years, CDC has been talking about disaster preparedness. And in 2011, they were actually monitoring their Twitter feed and found that people were the disaster that people were most interested in was zombie apocalypse. And so, yeah, exactly. So their communications director said, hey, what if we do a post about the zombie apocalypse? So they put up a blog post, and their average blog post gets about 2,000 views. And they posted this, and this blog post got 5.5 million views.
Oh my God.
It was all over. It was, all the.
Where was it posted? I'm sorry.
It was posted on the CDC blog. So they ended up getting a lot of traditional media, but the idea was they're getting their message across in a totally new way. And this is just kind of an example of great doing something different, getting people to think a different way about your content. And I'm just going to wrap up with, oh, yes.
How does this relate to
Okay, yeah, sorry, I wasn't, I can be more clear. So the idea being that with your asks, you can only put in so many asks, and that your campaign of asks also needs to be very heavily content driven. So if you're just asking people to give, they will ignore you on social media. The idea is to make people love you and appreciate your content and want to spread your name around to their friends and be the type of organization that people want to give to. Like the zombie apocalypse was great. Their message was you need to be prepared for a hurricane or a tornado or something, but their message was drowned out until they started talking about zombies. So on Giving Tuesday, I can guarantee that Friends of Trees had more presence on social media because we had a video about comparing Black Friday and Giving Tuesday compared to the other posts that were just saying, please give us money. So the takeaway is real quickly, when asking, pay the piper. If you want to get content out there, content marketing is king. Like I mentioned, you have to have a lot of content mixed in with your campaign and be engaging and be different. that is the wrap up of my presentation. I think we've got questions in there, but no.
Well, if these are immediate questions, go ahead, and then we're gonna have a panel after.
For your budget, how much of your marketing budget do you spend on traditional media? How much do you spend on social media?
So each year now, we probably spend, maybe $50,000 on media, and it is more toward traditional media than it is to social media. So social media is just harder to spend money on, I think. But yeah, we're probably, it might be $10,000 on social.
Are you YouTube for
So Friends of Trees is not using YouTube as much as I would like to use YouTube, but we do use YouTube. We don't pay for content on YouTube. We don't pay to promote on YouTube. But
are you measuring the metrics from Facebook? Are you looking at URL or having URLs and measuring articles traffic from sources like Facebook?
Well, actually, first we needed Susie to plug her ears, and we are not doing as good of a job as measuring as we were trained to do. So we're looking more at the Facebook analytics and how did each post perform versus how did it perform down the line. And we do have a problem where we're using.
Why? Yeah, tell them why.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
Well, it's a big job, but also we do have some problems in the Friends of Tree system. When people sign up, for instance, those links were to Google sign-up forms, which you can't track through a Google sign-up form whether or not what happened on the other end of it. And part of our giving system is through another website. It's, e-online giving or something, which we can't, what is that? No, it's not that. I can't remember what it's called, but we've been slowly moving things to our website so that we can have better tracking ability. But when you start to send people other places to do the conversion, we don't know whether they converted or not.
We were in the feed, and I found that we might be able to use heater tags and allow us a lot more leverage. So sometimes there's not proper information for this fundraising off-site opportunities. We'll have heater tag options.
Cool, but we should talk. Cool. Do you want me to continue with questions?
Can we wait for
Yeah.
at the end? That would be.
Sorry, I went a little over my time.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, one final question. When was the last time anyone saw an overhead projector? I thought that was so cool when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, I need to have that. Thanks.
Thank you.